How many of you think that the color of our sun is yellow? What if I tell you it's not yellow but green? Mind-boggling, right? We've been fed some pretty wild myths about the cosmos, and today we're here to set the record straight. So buckle up, because this journey through space myths is going to be out of this world. All right, let's kick things off with one of the biggest misconceptions out there, the color of the sun. Comment down below if you've always thought the sun is yellow. Well, guess what? That's actually not true. In reality, the sun is not yellow, orange, or red. It's actually green. Well, kind of. Let me explain. The sun emits light in all colors, but the peak of its spectrum, the wavelength it emits most strongly, is in the green portion of the spectrum. However, because the sun emits all colors of light, it appears white to our eyes when viewed from space. The yellow appearance is due to the Earth's atmosphere scattering the shorter blue wavelengths of light. So, next time someone asks you the color of the sun, you can confidently say it's more complex than just yellow. It's actually all colors combined, which makes it appear white, and its peak emission is in the green range. Crazy, right? But wait, there's more. Let's move on to another space lie. We've all heard the idea that space is completely silent. Many people think that space is entirely silent, a vast void with no sound. This belief comes from the fact that space is a near-perfect vacuum, meaning there's no air to carry sound waves like on Earth. However, space isn't completely silent. Scientists have discovered that space does have sounds, but they're not like anything you'd hear on Earth. These sounds are actually electromagnetic vibrations that are picked up by special instruments on spacecraft. NASA has even converted these signals into audio files we can listen to, and trust me, they sound eerie and beautiful at the same time. Isn't that just mind-blowing? So while space isn't silent, it's definitely a far cry from the kind of sounds we're used to. Now, let's talk about another popular myth, the idea that astronauts float in space because there's no gravity. It seems intuitive, right? No ground, no gravity. But that's not the full story. Astronauts float in space not because there's no gravity, but because they're in free fall. Imagine you're in an elevator and the cable breaks. You and the elevator would both fall at the same rate, making you feel weightless inside. Similarly, the International Space Station ISS and everything inside it, including the astronauts, are falling towards Earth. But because they're also moving forward at such high speeds, they keep missing Earth. This creates a continuous state of free fall, which we perceive as weightlessness. Think of it like this: if I throw this ball, host throws the ball and it keeps going forward while also falling. That's what's happening with the ISS. It's falling around the Earth, not into it. Fascinating, isn't it? All right, moon lovers, this one's for you. Have you ever heard that the far side of the moon is always dark? That's a myth. Many people call it the dark side of the moon, but it's actually not dark all the time. The moon is tidally locked to Earth, which means the same side always faces us. However, both sides of the moon experience day and night. As the moon orbits Earth, the far side gets just as much sunlight as the side we see. So there's no permanently dark side of the moon, just a side we never see from Earth.
See, it's all about perspective. The so-called dark side of the moon is simply the far side, and it gets plenty of sunlight during its day. Next up, let's bust the myth that our solar system is located at the center of the Milky Way galaxy. You might be surprised to learn that we're actually quite far from the center. Our solar system is located in a spiral arm of the Milky Way called the Orion Arm, about 27,000 light-years away from the galactic center. The center of the Milky Way is a chaotic place with a supermassive black hole and densely packed stars. We're in a much quieter neighborhood, which is probably a good thing for the development of life. So, while we might feel like we're at the heart of everything, we're actually on the outskirts of our galaxy. It's a humbling reminder of just how vast and diverse the universe is. Here's a fun one. Have you ever heard that water can't exist in space? That's a bit of a half-truth. In the vacuum of space, liquid water would quickly evaporate or freeze. But water can and does exist in space in various forms. We found ice on moons, comets, and even in the shadowed craters of Mercury. And in the right conditions, like inside space habitats, water can stay liquid. Scientists are also excited about the possibility of liquid water beneath the icy crusts of moons like Europa and Enceladus. So, water can exist in space, it just depends on the environment. And where there's water, there's the potential for life, which is super exciting. Now, let's tackle the myth that all stars are the same size. If you've ever looked up at the night sky, you know that stars can appear quite similar. But in reality, they vary immensely in size. Stars come in a range of sizes. Red dwarfs, the most common type of star in the universe, are much smaller than our Sun. On the other end of the spectrum, there are supergiant stars like Betelgeuse and Vi Canis Majoris, which can be hundreds or even thousands of times larger than the Sun. The diversity in star sizes is one of the many fascinating aspects of our universe. It's amazing to think about how diverse the stars are. Next time you gaze up at the night sky, remember that each point of light has its own unique story. Thanks for joining us on this cosmic adventure. If you loved uncovering these space secrets, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell.